So today we're going to go through a few banded exercises, a few body weight exercises and a few seated exercises. Before the timer starts, I'll show you a tutorial on how to do it, and then we'll start the timer and I'll put a rest timer in as well. So let's get started. Our first exercise, we'll need our resistance band, and we're going to step onto the band and we're going to just push on straight ahead. So we're going to do the shoulder press on each side. To swap over, you're just popping it onto the other foot. Well, you're going to stand onto it with the other foot, pop it into the other hand, and you're pushing straight overhead. If you're doing a seated exercise, you're going to do the same thing again. You're standing on the band, holding on to the resistance band, and you're just pushing straight up, just like that. And then to swap over, same thing again. Swap it onto the other side, hold the resistance band, and you're just going to shoulder press overhead. Okay, so we're going to stand on the resistance band, pushing straight overhead, just like this. And if we're doing seated exercises, same thing again, just standing on the resistance band, pushing overhead. We're going to then swap over onto the other side, pushing straight up overhead, just like this. If we're doing seated, same thing again, just pushing on straight overhead. And we'll have a rest there. For the next exercise, we're going to be putting our bands to the side, and we're just doing a simple sit to stand, just like that. If you need to hold on, please do feel free. And if it's too much on the knees, we're just going to do a step on each side. So I'm going to set my timer. We're going to do our stand to sit, just like that. And if it's too much on the knees and we're doing the seated exercises, we're just going to do a step on each side. If we're doing the standing exercise, we'll just do our stand to sit. And then we'll have our 20 seconds rest once we're done with this set. And we'll rest there. For our next exercise, we're going to need our resistance band again. We're going to stand onto it, have a hinge at the hips, keeping the knees nice and soft and keeping our elbows tucked in. And we're just going to row towards our body, just like that. If we are doing our seated row, we're just going to stand onto the band and again, row towards our body, keeping our elbows nice and tucked in. So I've just started our timer. So nice hinge at the hips, soft knees, and we're rowing towards the body, keeping our elbows nice and tucked in. If we're doing our seated exercise, we're just standing on the band and rowing towards our body, sitting up nice and straight, squeezing the back. And we'll rest there. So this one you could do standing or seated. You're just holding out the band in front of you and pulling apart. So you can do that standing or seated, one or the other. Holding the band, pulling the band apart, trying to keep tension in the band. The further you hold out, the easier it will be. The closer together you hold, the more difficult it will be. So again, you can do this seated or you can do it standing, trying to keep the tension in the band, not coming all the way to the end like this. We're putting our bands to the side again, and we are picking something off the floor and putting it overhead, just like this. We're going to swap over on each side, and the same thing again with seated exercise, picking something up off the floor, putting overhead, and swapping over to each side. So we'll start our timer, picking something off the floor, putting overhead. Try and get a little bend in the knee whilst you're doing it, and same with seated, just bending over to pick something up off the floor and putting overhead, just like that. So for our next one, we won't need the band, so we'll pop that to the side again. We're going to go up onto the balls of the feet or your tiptoes. Same thing again with seated. You can just go up onto your tiptoes for your calf raise. So we'll start the timer going up onto the balls of your feet, just like this. If you need to hold on to something, please feel free to as well. Seated as well, just going up onto the balls of your feet or your tiptoes. So just standing up. This one requires a little bit of balance as well. So for our next one, we'll need our band again, and we're going to do a Romanian deadlift. So we're going to stand onto the band, just like this. We're going to have a slight hinge at the hips, and we're just standing up nice and straight, just like this. If we're doing our seated exercise, we're just going to pick something off the floor, slight bend over, and sitting up nice and straight. So we'll start our timer. We're going to just stand onto the band, nice straight back, slight bend in the hips, keeping your arms nice and long, just like this. If we're doing our seated exercise, just standing on the band, picking something up off the floor. You might want to hold a little bit lower if you're finding it a little bit too easy. That will create a little bit more resistance, and we'll rest there. Okay, so for our next movement, we're going to put our resistance bands to the side, and we're going to do a step to each side, depending on how big the area is. Maybe do 3 steps each side or 2. If I keep going, I might come off frame, so I need to probably just do 2 at the moment. If we are doing seated exercise, we're going to just do a step to the side and then to the middle, step to the side and to the middle. With that said, we'll start the timer. So we're going to do 2 steps to each side, depending on how big the area is you are at. We'll do more, we'll do 3 maybe. If we're doing seated exercise, we're doing a step to the side and then to the center, just like this. If we're doing standing, we'll do a few steps to each side, and we'll rest there. For our next one, we're going to just bend at the knees and push our arms overhead, just like that. If we're doing a seated exercise, we're just going to do the arms overhead, and we're going to start our timer, bend at the knees, pushing overhead, just like this. If we're doing seated, just arms like this. To make this one more difficult, you can add some dumbbells into your hand. That'll create a little bit more resistance. So bend at the knees, arms overhead, and we'll rest there. And our final one will be the leg extension. So another seated exercise, you're holding on to the seat, bringing your leg out in front of you, and then swapping over to the other side, just like this. If it's too much on the knees, we're just going to do a step on each side again. We'll start our timer, just fully extending the leg out, just like this. And if it is too much on the knees, we're just going to do a step on each side. But if we're going to do the leg extension, we'll just extend the leg out in front of us, trying to keep our back nice and straight throughout this movement as well. It's nice and controlled, and we'll rest there.